Hello, everyone. Yes, I do know it's not Tuesday night, but never mind. I wasn't doing a special intro just for the Monday one, so glad to see you all here. Nice to see yous, as Brucey used to say. We've only got a couple of people in at the moment because obviously it's Monday and not a Tuesday. Everyone's expecting the Tuesday night live stream. But I found out I'm going to be out tomorrow, so I won't be able to do my live stream. And obviously, I didn't do the actual live stream last week, so I want to get something out there for you and have a chat. Also, I want to try and find out some information on what's going on of this gas tower. It seems like I've found an urban legend myself. Doing video. Oh, let's get that. That looks, yeah, look that way. Need to get half decent, don't we? Half right, yeah. Because some people have ADHD or whatever, and things not quite right, a bit funny. But yeah, Mick's in as well. You alright, Mick? Nice to see you, mate. Excellent. Uh, cool. And yeah, what have we got here? Urban Legend UK and Matt the Secret Vault. Yes, he is in the background at the moment, so I will let him up when he's giving me the thumbs up. Hey, there's a thumbs up. Hello, Matt. Welcome in.
Hello. How are you doing?
You alright? Not too bad.
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad you gave us the thumbs up and the golden finger,
Yeah.
especially after, especially after that clip I sent you.
Thumbs up your bums up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mm.
Yeah. For people who don't know, I've sent Matt a private clip of a little film. Basically, he was talking about his operation he had to go underneath the laser. So we're showing
Yeah.
him it. So show Matt there a clip of the golden finger. Yeah, the man with the
Mm.
golden gun. That's it. The man with the
Yeah.
golden gun. Yeah,
Gold
and
member.
and the laser
Mm.
beam when it's traveling up his conveyor belt to do your operation. So yeah,
Mm.
so yeah, I've done a little bit of a voiceover for you on it and said, "Oh, does this bring back memories?" So that's what I'm talking about.
I wish
So
I wish
for
you would have cut something a bit more effectively than the laser surgery I had. I think they were using like one of those little 5-watt laser pointers or something. It didn't do bugger all.
yeah, but you've seen the good side, so at least you didn't give me the golden finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't a golden brown finger. Yeah.
Or the thumbs up. Wow, that's painful.
Yeah. Don't mind that actually.
Everyone's to their own, Matt. Too much information for me, that.
I've had that off a doctor. He stuck his finger up my bum hole once. I tried to get him to do it twice, but he said, "No, stop it."
Yeah, just have to get rid of this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people's comments up, but something just popped up there. So yeah, yeah, I've had one of them myself, and yeah, they're not quite pleasant. Them, I don't think. Uh,
Mm.
well, mine wasn't anyway. I didn't enjoy it.
Did he lube up first, though?
I'd say it did, but it didn't feel like it.
Mm.
Because I think with lube, you don't really feel as much pain as I did that time.
You are supposed to relax when they're trying to get in there. You're not supposed to sort of like clench up.
Oh, it was trying to do that, but each time we're near the nether regions, it's sort of like maybe jump with like
Mm.
tickle, like it and being tickled.
Mm.
So
So you
I
have
think
been tickled from the inside then, Will. Oh my God. Revelation's coming out tonight, folks. What the?
I think he's got sick of me jumping every 2 seconds when he comes near me. He's went, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Sorry if you tuned in and you're listening to all this. Yeah.
I managed within 5 minutes of the start of the show to turn it to base level as usual. Yeah, that's the one.
They love it, though. They love it. That's what they're tuning for, a bit of banter and a laugh and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you all know, I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow. I've done it tonight instead because I'm out tomorrow busy doing stuff. So I don't want to say too much what I'm up to tomorrow. So that's why I thought I'd come on tonight and do a live stream. So thank you for everyone who's jumping on. And if you're on now watching it, we think it's Tuesday, look, check my channel out. Yeah, I'm sorry that you missed the actual live stream, but yeah, so glad you're watching it now. Right, let's see who else we got in. We've got Gareth in there. Yeah, Gareth, give us a bell on Instagram. Tried to leave you a message, but it didn't get back. Tom's on a mish. Nice to see you, mate. Chicken Malicious Jones in.
Yeah. Malicious Jones.
No, Malaysia. What's that curry called? I put the namings wrong. I put it in as the country, Melissa. Malaysia. Yeah, the country.
Malaysia. Yeah.
What is the actual curry called? Stick it in curry, not the Indian curry.
Madras.
Chicken. No, not Madras. Chicken. No, the other
Masala.
one. Masala. That's it.
Masala. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant to call her. Chicken tikka masala's in the house, Jones.
Yeah.
Stick it in your curry, mate. Yeah. Aye. So I've seen your video you just put out today. The one of the maze and you're walking Angel.
Yeah. Just went for a little walk. I did that last night, actually.
Yeah. It's a pretty peaceful video and quite enjoyed it, really.
Listening to me moaning on a walk, going like, farmers, get off my land. It's like every time I go for a walk somewhere, I'm just thinking like somebody in a Range Rover is going to pull up now and be like, "Excuse me, do you know you're not supposed to be up here?" Like, no, no, I had no idea. Is it all right if I come up here? Will you give me permission to carry on what I am doing, sir? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, we missed someone there as well. Yeah, there's been a bit of a kick-off, hasn't there, on social media about people calling Karens when they're not actual name Karens because they're getting like a reputation for being picked
Some
on.
people deserve it, don't they? If they're acting out, it's a meme.
Yeah, but obviously the Karens that aren't Karens, but which are called Karens by name, don't like the videos.
Well, they don't like anything, do they, Karens? They don't like anything.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. They're kicking up a fuss now, and everyone's going to call them a Karen about it. You know what I mean? So it's it's not great, that is it? They should just let them out lie, really. Not take it too personal. That's what a lot of people do these days. It's they don't respect each other. They want respect themselves. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work, and it's just gone crazy, the society these days.
Respect my authority.
Yeah. It's I want a reputation. You're damaging my reputation. Not that you're, not what I mean, considered other people. It's all you're damaging my reputation. Not respect to other people. Yeah, respect. They shouldn't be doing this and doing that. You know what I mean? It's all changed from respect to reputation now, and that's where people get defensive when they talk about reputation and stuff.
Yeah, I sort of like the woman who says, like, I don't like people on their bikes riding up and down my street. And starts pushing this kid on his bike, and she's like pushes him, and he's got it all on film. And then she goes up to the mother, and the mother's like, don't ever go at my son. He's just riding a bike. He's not doing anything wrong. This is what kids do. Like, and it's like, yeah, but I don't want them riding up and down my street all the time. It's just a pain in the ass, and I don't want it. And she's like, get away from my child, like, and she's like, I'll do what I want, and it's like, that's a classic Karen. I can do what I want. I can say what I want.
Yeah.
They come unstuck sometimes though, because they get taken in for breach of the peace, by the police. And it's happened quite a few times. Like, these people kicking off like, no, I got a right. I can do this. I can do that. I'm telling you the way it's meant to be, even though it's not in law. This is my law, Yeah.
That's it. People that live in greenhouses and stuff, they need to get out and get a life, basically. How is your exploring with you two only? With you two only? I don't understand that. Unless it's me dyslexic kicking in. I don't think it is. Maybe he's spelled it wrong. Yep. Oh, Frank's in the house. Cool. Yeah, what a disaster as well about booking for John Bengals do.
Well, you're lucky you picked up on it, because I just missed completely the fact that wasn't even in the right place. I told Will to go to somewhere that was 30 miles down the road, and I was like, I swear I typed in Chelmsford, and it brought me up a place in Colchester, and Will didn't pick up on it, and I didn't pick up on it. Yeah, go on. You want to tell him the thing? So yeah, my bad there, but yeah, it worked out all right, didn't it?
Well, it's not your problem really. I think what I asked you to do is find the cheapest one in the area, and you might have done a filter search or something. So therefore, it would have found the localist, but the cheapest. But yeah, it was like 30 miles away from where we're supposed to be going. So that wasn't really, ideal. Because we could get the train going down there. It was only £12 a ticket either way.
Yeah, it's not ideal though, is it? You don't want to be doing that.
No, but saying that, you can't guarantee the trains these days, can you? That's the only thing.
Especially getting back later on at night, you'd be having to get on a train like at 10 o'clock to make sure you had a train.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just make sure you don't miss the last train, because obviously if they start running funny times, you might change the last timing of the train. So yeah. And if you get Uber taxi, it'll cost you just as much it does in fuel to get to the location from driving, if you know what I mean, from Manchester down south. Because we're there for 2 days, so it would have been quite a lot of taxis and stuff. So at least down to John, me and John sorted it out. I noticed it. I thought, right, so how far is this? How far walking distance? And when I checked the walking distance, I thought, that seems a bit long. Yeah. If you're all wondering what we're talking about, it's what's it called, Matt? You want to say the name?
Urbageddon.
Urbageddon. That's the one.
Geddon.
Yeah.
If you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets. Urbageddon.
Yeah.
I'll put a link up for it. I'll find it now.
Also, I want to shout out to everyone in the chat in a few minutes. Threw out a video over the weekend asking whether you could help us out with a video that I'm doing. But yeah, it seems like I've opened a urban legend there, because, well, if you check the video out, you'll hear what it's all about. But obviously, I'll tell you now. Basically, got a tour of Gasworks, a private tour. And back in the day, my sister used to live near there, and going back to 2002 when the Commonwealth Games came to Manchester. The City Ground was just built, and there's a couple of gas towers next to the City Ground that everyone knows it in Manchester. It's a big landmark, iconic landmark for everyone, know what I mean? And my sister got a letter through the post saying they go to convert these gas canisters, gas holders, or gas, whatever they're called. I forgot what they're called. Ometers, yeah. Into big Coke cans as advertising for when people were coming over to Manchester. So I've had the tour, I've explained, I've asked a question, and they said yes, it was true. But I asked local residents and local shops and stuff like that, and people don't recognise it, don't remember it. But I've spoken to two people. One was a security guard at the venue itself, and they said, yeah, they can remember it, but it was only half can because only shown half, no wrapped around half with it. So from one point, it looked like a Coke can. And I went to across the road from to the fire station, and there's one guy there that was from 2002 and says he can remember the banner being up there, but he's got no pictures of it. So that's my quest out to you. Can you find a picture of the Commonwealth Games gas towers as a Coca-Cola can? So I can finish this film, or not finish it, but I can do it without it. But it's just a bit of fun, really. So if you can help us do a video, we've got Steffi in as well. Cool, nice to see you. Yeah, I seen Tom's birthday as well the other night. A live stream, pretty cool. He's getting a bit older now. Not much, only be by 1 year, if that. Yeah. So excellent. Yeah. Good to see everyone. So if anyone has got any pictures, leave it in the comments in the chat, or leave it in the comments below after the video's been finished and the live stream's finished. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get a picture. But it's back 2002 where people don't have camera phones and stuff as much, you know what I mean? So it's quite, not much on the internet. I've asked a few people, but they're having scratching heads at moment, so I don't know what's what. Like I say, I spoke to one of the residents that live by, and she said, I got a letter through the post saying to go to do this, put a banner up and convert it to a Coke can. So I said, oh, do you ever see it? She went, come to think of it, I never seen it up there, no. But saying that, I'm in the area, my sister lives just around the corner. I used to live around the corner from it. And none of us have seen it. But yet, some people are saying they have seen it, and some people who took me on the tour said they've done research and found out it did exist. And if you look at the gas towers, there's like a cable going round to hold the banner up. So, which makes sense unless they've put the banner up. The cable's up, but not the banner. But that doesn't make sense about people seeing it. So it's one of them ones. Is it an urban legend? As an urban legend, fan of an urban legend? I don't know. A bit crazy when you dig into like trying to find history and stuff. I mean, you think Urbex or whatever you're doing on YouTube, do a film and you think that's it, put it up. But yeah, when you go to places like I've been in, places you've been at as well, it's all takes you back, doesn't it? And think, what is this place used for? And if you do your research, it drags you more and more into the history, or it gives you more questions that you need to try and find out, or gets you more curious going, know what I mean? It's crazy. I believe
one of my alarms going off.
Yeah, I believe Urbex is not in the chat at the moment, but he left us a comment and saying there was one up there, Scotland, that they converted to a gas can.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have to have a look at that, see if I can find that. So yeah. But yeah, it's interesting though. Have you ever done that yourself, Matt, where you thought a video will be quite simple, but then you found more history out and more research you'd needed to actually put the video out on information about it?
Yeah.
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 Well, Mitch is in. We've got Sue in. Excellent. Mark Urbex. Don't know whether he's been in before or not. I've shown him before or not. And also we've got Mr. John in. Hello, Mr. John.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Hello.
Oh. Any sound?
Yeah, sound.
Yeah.
That's good because I forgot to plug my microphone in.
Oh.
Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us.
Oh, here we go. Hang on. Hello. Yeah.
I know, he's just still on audio then. Oh dear.
Wanted a new laptop so I could do live streams again. Bleeding hell, that's no good if your laptop breaks or anything. Talking about breakaging. Wow. My Pocket, DJI Pocket, yeah. I must say, everyone says it's...
I'll be back in 5. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I'll remove you. Everyone says these are fragile because of the gimbal on it. And yeah, they are quite fragile. Because I dropped mine while I was filming the other day.
Oops.
In the case like this, I was moving it from one pocket to the other pocket so it wouldn't get damaged, and obviously dropped it. Landed sideways like that, flat. Pulled it out. It looked alright. But sometimes when you drop them or jump down from places, this head's a bit heavy and bends the thing so it doesn't turn, doesn't twist. But I looked, it was like 3 there, but no, the clearance at the bottom.
Yeah.
But when it did turn on, it went round to about there, and that went up and down like it should do.
Yeah.
But then it went like shaking and clicking to one side. So I was like, oh crap, what can I do? So I was looking at the thing like that. I went, oh, there's a couple of dents on the back part there.
Oh Christ, yeah, you did drop it bad. Yeah.
So I thought that might be hitting the bearing and stopping it from rotating it because it was quite stiff to turn. So I was like, oh. So I got hot glue, got it warm, a stick of hot glue, stuck it to the end, and then just pulled it off. That's a plastic cap that's dented. So it's not aluminium. So that came off with no damage. Seen the screws there. I thought, I'm not stripping that down. So I went on the good old internet, typed in YouTube and gimbal problems with DJI Pocket. There's quite a few where it comes round and it's just kept on going up and down that part, yeah? But there's only I think it's 1 or 2 videos where it was like, no, can't go this way. No, that way, instead of up and down. And that was the problem with mine. Because in the past, sometimes I dropped it and this first part wouldn't spin. So what I did, I grabbed the thumb at the bottom of it and just pushed it up for clearance, and that seemed all right. But like I say, that wasn't the problem. So I've checked this video out on YouTube, and the guy says, press on the side of the camera, and that releases this one, sorts this one out on one of them. And then he said, oh no, that's it. He said, press on the side there. And if I turned it off and turned it on, and it did what it needed to, spin round and flicked up and flicked down, and it worked. So I tried it. It works better, but it's still clicking out at times. So
I would have said that if it's going like that, you just need to bend it up slightly, bend it back into line.
Yeah. So I was looking at it again and trying to suss out which direction it dropped on. And then I just like done my old finger and just pushed up, well, which way either push up that way or spun it round that way and pushed it up. Then tried it and it worked. All nice and smooth now, like that. So I'm glad about that, because I was out filming, dropped it, and was like, I need a new camera. But yeah, obviously it's excellent now. Everyone says the dog faulty, and they are delicate, but yeah, they can take some abuse if you know how to fix them or just push them in the right places or something. I don't know.
You need the springies. You need to get some of these springies, £5 off eBay for springers, and you just hook that on you, and then when you put it in your pocket, you stretch it and put it in your pocket. But if it ever comes out of your pocket, it won't hit the ground because it'll just go doing, and it just it doesn't ever reach the ground. It's well worth it. I do it for torches because torches have fallen out of my pocket, and I've walked away and not realised the torch has come out of my pocket. But you don't want anything hitting the ground, torches, and especially cameras. So that's my advice for the future.
Streams and yeah, basically on the live streams, what we do, I'll put the message up there. It's just like a chill out time on a Tuesday night. I know it's not a Tuesday night, it's a Monday night, but tonight, because I can't do one tomorrow, I'm busy. So yeah, basically we just like to chill out, and whatever people come up with, random talking, like just this conversation really, just to relax and a bit of a laugh and stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and when we run out of subjects, we just start being like filthy.
Yeah, I think we already lowered the atmosphere with the first 5 minutes of James Bond, Mr. Goldfinger.
Yeah,
and the laser in your operation. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, you know, the lithotripsy was a walk in the park, like, you know. But when they got to stick that long pipe that's about that long up your front end, and then that I'm glad I was not awake for that.
Yeah. Ah, that's what he meant. Now you get a thumbs up. Yeah. I gave a thumbs up and I read what he said. I went, no, turn that back down. We've got good old David in. David Dolman Ventures. Excellent. Nice to see you, mate.
Hello, cool. Mate. Hey, a lot of people don't realise, but like in sort of Eastern countries, like, you know, Arab countries and whatnot, and Turkey and Greece and places like that, this is considered an insult, because sticking your thumb up like that means shove your thumb up your arse. That's what it means. So it's not like, are you all right, mate? Yeah. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. That means 2 thumbs up your arse, right? So they must be quite like bemused by the fact that YouTube has a thumb up and a thumb down, you know, because like you're clicking the thumb up, what must be going through half of the Arab world's head is like, you're asking me to say up your arse. I'll press the up the arse button then because I like the video, which is kind of a weird concept, really, isn't it? You know, like it's offending a lot of the Arab world. I'm surprised it hasn't been pointed out, actually. I mean, you know, like a tick would be okay, and an X, or or a happy face, or a smiley face, like a sad face. But a thumb up is offending a lot of parts of the world that think that is an offensive. It's almost like going like that, or like that. It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you because cultures are all different all over the country. And if like you say, thumbs up means something in one country and totally something in the other country. And it's where cultures like clash, and then they don't really, the barrier, language barrier breaks down, and they can't explain to each other what it actually means, and they think it's, like you say, something nasty to them. Yeah, it's a bit crazy. Yeah. So, like I say, I'm working on this film, and it's doing me head in, really. I've been there a couple of times now, but at least I've got it all sorted. I filmed what I needed to film. I just need to edit it all together and get it out. It's got to be like a follow-up to This Place Behind Us. The same thing before he went to Turkey, else This Place Behind Us, which was old gasworks. And my next video, or the gasworks video I'm going to do now, is another follow-up of the gasworks, but of a different location. It was going to be part 1, but the video I took, the people who invited us on wasn't happy with what I had. So I got to go back for another private tour. Did that, but it was raining and cancelled it, so rearranged it, and it just getting on forever. So I managed to throw this one out behind us because there's a few people waiting to get the video out of Underground Manchester Gasworks. So that's part 1, and I'm doing a part 2, which will be in a few weeks, maybe a month or something. Also, I'm doing a live stream because of it, over 2,000 subscribers. It's going to be 2,500 soon. So yeah, I need to pull my thumb out and get a move on with that. I'm not saying where I'm pulling my thumb out from, but yeah, I need to sort that out. Yeah. I'm told. Right, I don't know about that one. There was a rumour that Manchester United were going to buy the actual grounds next to City Ground and build their own training ground there. But someone told me that, and I thought, no, they're just taking a mick there, because if they're on that, Manchester City will be able to watch what they're doing. No, know what I mean? The tactics and vice versa. And apparently I found quite a lot of information out about what's going on around there and stuff like that. So should be interesting. Yeah, like as I said, they're saying scuba diving means different things as well with your thumb. So yeah, it's depends, like say. That could be peace or something else or whatever, and know what I mean? There's loads of stuff you can do with the hand gestures and stuff, and people find, pardon me, offensive in different cultures and stuff. Yeah, but just if you find it offensive, just get on with your life and don't take it too personal, because getting stressed out over crap like that, it's not worth it, because I've had a stroke just in November over just worrying about nothing in this and that, and yeah, life's too short to worry. Just get on with your life and enjoy it.
Yeah. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and worry about what you're doing.
That's the one. Yeah.
Although
Exactly. FIFA picture.
probably don't always do that myself, but yeah. I
Yeah.
actually think that most people would probably think I'm quite opinionated about most things, really. But yeah,
Don't get me wrong, I am as well, because just because I'm nice and pleasant on air don't mean I don't get wound up about things. It's like my gas provider. I might do a little video of this because I've recorded all the conversations about it, and basically they owe me money for me. No, is it here? The money that the government gives you towards your rent, towards your gas bills and stuff. They were trying to say they're going to throw it all on the electric instead of splitting up. But in the past, I've had it in the post normally, and you split it. I can take the voucher to the shop and split it 50-50, whatever I want.
sorry.
Oh no, we sent it out once and you didn't receive it like that. So what we're doing, we go to credit all on the electric. When that's great because I've got loads of food and stuff like that in the freezer. But I'm going to cook it because I need gas to cook it with. So shouldn't it be up to me how I spend my money, or how I spend this voucher, how I budget? Who owns the money? Is it you who owns the money? Is it me who owns the money? Is it the government who owns the money? Because really, if you're telling me you want to throw it all in the electric, that might be beneficial for you lot, which is more profitable for you to spend it all on the electric than this gas. But it's no good towards me, that, because I need to budget myself, not rely on not other people to say making decisions for myself. So basically, they said, no, we can't do that until we install smart meters. Wait, what? No, we can't split the vouchers unless you install smart meters on both machines, electric and gas. So quite clearly in conversation said, look, I don't want this smart meter. I don't want that. So let's get back to the discussion how I can split this voucher. Why can't you send it us through the post? So basically, we didn't get nowhere that day. I phoned up the next day, spoke to someone else, told them and recorded all the conversations. I've got a multimedia platform, and also probably be going to the newspapers about it. But I'm not one of them ones that like say I'm a YouTuber and I'll throw it on YouTube. I'm not like that. Don't want to like try and, you know what I mean, throw me weight. I don't want to be heard. So the person who was speaking to us the next day said, no, that's not our policy at all. I said, well, I've recorded it all. So yeah, one of them ones. And they couldn't be any better. They sent us out 2 new vouchers, one for the gas, one for the electric. So I could split it how I wanted. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think everyone has a time to rage and moan and stuff like that. Yeah, but you like to do it a bit more public, don't you, Matt? Sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I air all my grievances in my videos. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I say, I might just throw one of these videos out and for people to see what's going on and realise they try to force these smart meters on you. We've got Mr. John back now. Hello, Mr. John.
Hello there. Hello there,
How are you doing?
folks. I'm back.
Guess who's back? Guess
I'm
who's
all
back?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Bengals back.
That's the one. Aye.
What have you been talking about then? Because I missed it.
About
Moaning.
energy, yeah, moaning and energy suppliers and stuff like that. If anyone wanted to know who my energy supplier was, it's OVO or SSE.
All right.
Same firm, so yeah. Smart meters.
Never heard of them.
Freeze or
Oh my God Almighty!
yeah.
Hello.
I'll remove you, Mr. John, for a minute while he's on his call. Yeah, they said it's got to be law now where they got to force everyone. Oh, miss someone saying hello. Force everyone to have a smart meter by 2026. And
Yeah,
it was
right.
like, yeah, I was like, no, what I've heard is it's 2028. They're trying to roll it out by 2028, but then of course it's going to take a while for them to actually get people to switch over. So yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah, Safari's in as well. You're right, mate. Cool to see you. And talking about gas and energy and all that, yeah, it relates to this video behind us, Underground Gas Works. And the video I'm going to put out in a couple of weeks about gas. I know them gas meters, big gas towers and stuff like that. I asked them about how much this one held and how many years that would supply a house for. Wow, it's unbelievable. Obviously, I'm not going to say it on air how long it is and stuff like that.
Why not?
Because if you want to know, you'll have to watch a video, won't you?
Oh, right. I thought it was a secret. Yeah.
Not a secret, but if we give it away, what's the point in watching the video? Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I couldn't interact it with a quiz. No, like I say, my live chat, 2,000 subscribers, which is now 2.5 nearly. Where they give out prizes and presents and cash prize and hats and t-shirts, hoodies, cups. Yeah, so once I get this all organised, it'll be great. So I might even throw it into that. So the one who gets the closest to that, how long it would last, yeah, would win a prize. So that's an idea I was thinking as well. But obviously, they're all not the same size gas meters. So, without me telling you the size of the gas meter, you can't work it out beforehand. So yeah. But when they close down and close the gas meters, it would be gasometers. It'd have been great to buy one as a pre-future investment, especially with the prices now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Don't answer when I'm on shows.
On the gates and was gutted. Ooh. Just got to keep going back and keep looking, because one day the padlock will be removed, or you'll find someone there doing a bit of work, and if you speak to them nicely, they'll probably let you in, saying that you just want to take some pictures and stuff. Because that's what happened to me with my church, what I did. Yeah, so just keep trying, and fingers crossed you'll get in there. Know what I mean? It's not easy. Like this place behind me, I'd love to get in there, but oops, you can't really see. But there's no chance of getting in there at the moment, and with the builders building on it, I don't think there will be a chance of getting in there. But at least I got a picture of the place that no one else has put out, because I like to basically with this channel, I like to go and find old stuff and put it out there that no one's done or no one's seen. Like this place behind me, this is Underground Manchester. If you're new to the channel, no one else has been there. It's been locked away for, I'd say, about 80 years, maybe 100 years. But yeah, it's all crazy what's underneath your feet. Yeah, gas is excellent for cooking. With the electric though, if you turn it off and once it's off, the actual hub itself is still hot, which is producing the heat. But with the gas, once you turn it off, there's hardly any heat behind it. So it doesn't burn your food as much as the electric. And it also cooks it faster as well than the electric.
Yeah, gas is definitely quicker, but
Yeah.
it might be cheaper to use electric because gas is so expensive now. Which is like, why is it so expensive? You
Yeah.
know. Mm.
When they do put smart meters in my house, I'll be tin lining the actual room, no tin foil and stuff like that, so no radio waves or Wi-Fi can get to the meters in the first place. So that therefore, sticking smart meters in won't help them, will it? To keep an eye and spy on you.
It does take longer on gas to warm up water for a cup of tea. It takes longer. It's much quicker with electric, but that doesn't say necessarily how much energy you've used, and how much it's going to cost you. I don't know, but I would imagine it's probably more efficient to warm water in a kettle, unless you live in the United States where they run on 110 volts, not 240, where it actually takes quite a long time. So I've been told. And that's why in the States, a lot of people predominantly warm water in a saucepan. They don't use a kettle. Yeah, because their voltage is half, so it takes twice as long.
Yeah, if it's in a pan, yeah, the water does take a lot longer than the kettle to boil, I'd say. There's a question there for you. From you, Matt, about are you going to do any more stuff on UFOs?
I have heard about I have heard about the Capel Green film. It's been a project that's been in the works for like 4 years, and all of us just gave up hope on it, because it just seemed like hype, like we're going to do this film. Well, I tell you what, if it takes you 4 years to do a small documentary film, there's something not right with that picture because it's been in the works for probably longer than 4 years. And I kind of lose interest in projects that sort of like peter out like that. And all they were looking for all the time was funding to do this documentary. And some people can make a documentary with zero funding. So yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. You'd probably get an American crew would come in and would shoot it all in like a week, edit it in a week, and it'd be done. You know what I mean? And then you got British like people going like, "Oh, you know how it's so hard to do all this stuff. It's just very hard. Oh, we need more money." And all like whatever. And the people behind that Capel Green thing have been kicking off, making threats to people about what they're doing, like saying you can't put your research out, you can't talk about this because it's in our documentary, and so you're gagged. So what they've done is they interviewed a load of people to do this documentary and got them to sign a contract, and then were threatening them that they couldn't speak to anyone else about their story anymore because it was going to be in a documentary, and then tied them up for probably a lot longer than 4 years. Said like, and started threatening them, going like, you can't talk about it now, you can't talk about your story anymore to anyone. And it's like that's what I heard about that documentary. And I mentioned this once. I mentioned some of the issues around it, and quick as a flash, one of the people involved in the documentary got in touch with me and started chewing me out about what I can't, I shouldn't say this and I can't say that and da 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 da. And it's like, I can say what I want. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, I'm reviewing what seemed to be a failed project. It's something that never came out. You get people on things all the time talking about, oh, they cancelled this TV show, or this TV show's going shit, and da 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 da. It's called a review. If you can't handle reviews, real world reviews, don't be making documentaries, because once it comes out, you're going to get a whole load of people loving it and a whole load of people hating it. So, yeah, grow a pair. Yeah.
What do you think of Professor Holland's films about Rendlesham Forest and radio waves and microwaves?
It's an interesting theory, and I've heard some of that stuff, over the years. I've heard a lot of that kind of conversation. He's taken it down some different avenues, which is interesting. I like his work. He's an interesting chap. I was even thinking of asking him whether or not he'd like to come on and do a live show, but I haven't got round to it yet, because I'm thinking, well, he likes to chat, and I'd like to find out a bit more about his background, not just talking about UFOs, just a general chat, and kind of find out, why the fascination with goats, because he keeps goats, and he's moaning about them breaking things and escaping, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's what goats do, isn't it? So like you bought into that kind of ecosystem of destruction, really, with goats.
Not being funny enough, but he does look a bit like a goat himself, though, doesn't he? Wonder whether that's his past life.
I shouldn't say that, but yeah, he does look like a bit of an old goat, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's saying thanks, Matt, for answering the question, mate.
If you're talking about Rendlesham Forest,
go on, say that again, John. You went quiet. This quiet into your sounds, your.
Yeah, I'll stop because I thought someone was going to say something. Sorry.
No.
Talk about Rendlesham Forest. Read a book called You Can't. Read a book called You Can't Tell the People.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's done. Author was Georgina Brunei, and it's forwarded by Nick Pope. Got it. It's quite a good book about it, and she was like a reporter, and she went in there. It's a bit dated now. It's like 2009, but it's a good read to sort of get yourself into it.
Yeah, she passed away as well.
Yeah, did she?
Yeah, she passed away. Yeah, I think she had cancer. But yeah, it was kind of like her swan song, really, because what she was referring to with the title of the book, You Can't Tell the People, is a meeting she had with Margaret Thatcher. And she asked Margaret Thatcher about UFOs and Rendlesham Forest and a few other things. She said, what can you tell me about this? And Margaret Thatcher apparently, looked at her across her brow, leaned into her and said, yes, it's all very good, but you just can't tell the people.
Yeah.
Which is basically what we already know, isn't it? They don't want to tell us anything. They don't want to tell us anything. Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously Maggie had a nose in it. She knew what's going on herself, didn't she? Definitely by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Up to date.
We have a culture in the UK of anything military. It's like you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it. You can't talk about military bases. You can't take photos of military bases. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do it. And it's all this kind of negative no attitude, like secrecy. And they always throw up secrecy, Official Secrets Act, And then you look at America and how much openness they've got to at least what we know is available in technology and aircraft and missiles and things like that. They can't wait to show you it. They're like, yeah, YouTuber, yeah, come in the back of an aircraft. Yeah, we'll let you fly this helicopter. Yeah, come on, do it. Britain, it's kind of like, they kind of try to mimic the America's openness. They kind of like, we'll let you have a little look at this, a little look at but it's very, very stilted, the way Britain does it.
Just a toe in the door, that's it.
Yeah, because they don't want to be seen to be, out in the cold. But I mean, things like bunkers. I mean, they take you inside Cheyenne Mountain. They take you inside nuclear launch bunkers. They show you things. There's very little that hasn't been seen about the United States and what goes on. And yet in the UK, like the only time I think I've ever seen Northwood, the underground bunker in London, which is the command and control bunker in Northwood. The only time I think I've ever seen that is on Sky News, and it was kind of like, yeah, you can stand by this door and you can pan the camera, and it was like seconds worth of material. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, there you go, folks. That's it. We've shown you now, so go away. And it, yeah.
What was that one? Northwood? Was that the one in the woods?
No, this is an active one. It's on.
An active one.
I think it's called Northwood. and it's on North.
Sorry, Matt. I thought it was that BBC one. Was it North? What is it called? Northwood or something?
The bunker itself is called Northwood, and it's on Northolt base, Northolt. And it's their big command and control bunker. It's open 24/7. They're in there watching radars and all the rest of it. You know, similar to what they do down in the Caution Computer Center. But of course, they've never let cameras in the Caution Computer Center. That one is no, we will never talk about that place. You know, and it's like,
what's the one I was thinking of where you took your angel in the forest and you walked around it? Not what is it called? And it was BBC bunker, and they filmed Doctor Who in there.
Yeah, that's in Evesham. Yeah.
What was the name of that place? Well, that's something Wood.
Yeah, it is something. Yeah, hang on. BBC.
It's not Bournemouth, is it?
No, BBC Evesham. Evesham. What's it called? BBC. Evesham. BBC bunker. I'll bring it up. Wood Norton Hall. Wood Norton.
Yeah, it's similar name though.
Yeah,
but nowhere near it. No.
Yeah, it's no, it's nowhere near it at all, and that is run by the BBC, and they've got a bunker there. It's called PAWN, PAWN, Protected Area Wood Norton, and yeah, they weren't happy about me wandering around it, but I mean, it's like, well, hang on, you're the BBC, it's paid for by taxpayers' money. What's the problem? Like, you know, why can't we see the bunker? You know, they're all like, "Oh, you can't film here." Well, I can't film here, like the BBC would. Like, oh, sorry, BBC. Sorry, you can't film here, BBC. Like BBC go everywhere in the world, but when you come to them, oh, you can't film here. Why? You're a bloody broadcast company. You should be used to cameras and filming and editing and broadcasting, and they have a bloody hissy fit. You know what I mean?
There's nothing really much out there on that place, is there? Either, like you say, the England are like anything military or used for what could be used for military, quite sit on it and just quiet, even if it's dormant or whatever. But saying that, it's not just our country, it's like countries in North Korea and stuff like that, and Russia. Them countries don't like, and China don't like giving out too much information either on things. But yeah, a lot of them will take all the information they can receive, like China, and produce their fake Rolls Royces and stuff. Know what I mean? And they actually get away with it because they don't get bothered about copyright or nothing like that, do they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the thing is, though, like you're saying, the US have got a lot of military stuff, etc. They let everybody have a look. You got to remember, like Britain, everything we see publicly, that's probably about 15 years behind what they've actually got as in technology, if not more.
Yeah. Quite easy.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Dazzy, the thing is, I think he's saying like the higher the voltage, this is going back to kettles, the higher the voltage, the less the current can be. Well, it's not quite. I think you can have massive currents, but you just need much thicker cables. Whereas in the UK, we can have higher voltage with thinner cables. So for a kitchen appliance, you know, over here, 2 kilowatts? 2 kilowatts, I think, is most of the kettles. So 2000 watts, 2 kilowatts. And if you divide that by 240 volts, you get 8.3 amps. Now remember, we have a 13 amp fuse, and 13 amps is the max on cables, right? So for us to run a kettle is going to use 8 amps out of a 13 amp max. Now you never want to run something near 13 amps because it'll probably blow the fuse. So you probably want like 11 amps because that fuse is going to be getting hot, but it won't blow. You know, but if you go to 13 amps, it probably will blow. So here's the thing. If you take the same wattage, 2000, and divide it by 110, it's 18 amps. You see? So 18 amps is, you need double the amps to make that sort of kettle go. Now the trouble is, they don't want to make the cables ridiculously thick, and the house wiring is going to be rigged for probably lower ampage than that, unless you've got specific wiring in the States. So you can have a cooker which will use loads of power, but it's been wired up specifically for it with really thick cables, and they'll be double the thickness. Well, not double the thickness because it's inverse squared in it law, but it'll probably be like, it'll be a third larger, or 2/3 larger cable size to handle that current to the cooker. But you don't want to fit up the house with massive cables because it's a lot more money for the cabling, I suppose. But yeah, in theory, you could run a kettle on 18 amps and have it boiling water just as quick as in the UK. But you've got to, make the element designed for that, and you've got to make the cabling capable of handling it. So it is possible to do it, but they don't tend to do it. What they do is they keep the wattage down. So they'll be running that as 1,000 watts, or 1,200 watts or something like that to get as close as they can to that sort of like 10 amp limit, and then they won't be blowing any fuses. But that's the problem. If the thing is designed to run on a lot of power, provided you've got the cabling, there's no reason why you can't run it in the States. It's just houses are not designed to handle that, like massive loads of power.
Yeah, you're saying the houses run on 2-phase supply in America.
Mhm.
That's the same as over here, isn't it, basically? But we have more volts than they do. They're on, is it 110 or something like that?
Yeah.
And we're on 240, basically.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of supplies to a lot of houses everywhere are all 3-phase, but when they come into the house, they become 2-phase. But a lot of houses in the States have had to actually convert to use the 3-phase system to charge electric cars because, again, running on 110 trying to charge a Tesla is crap. So they bring in the 3-phase and they bring it up. I think it's 240. You can get 240 into houses in the States, but it's you've got to have it properly cabled in, but then you can charge your Tesla in a reasonable amount of time because it's an issue, whereas over here 3-phase systems, they're coming into most people's houses anyway, but they don't realize it, and they only ever use 2 phases of the 3-phase system in the UK. And what you tend to have is like your house will be on phase 1, the next house will be on phase 2, and the next house will be on phase 3. So it varies which part of the phase circuit you're on. But yeah,
we've got a safer system as well, haven't we? Like plug sockets. You can America's too. Like you put a wire in there, you're knackered. Over here, you have to put. I don't recommend this, but you have to put all 3 of the pins in to get any electricity. You could put a screwdriver in one bit, it ain't going to do nothing. You can put it in 2, it ain't going to do nothing. You have to have all 3 pins in order for it to work. Yeah. So it makes it safer overall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not tried that one. Don't want to.
Dazzy84 says that it's 2-phase, but Google says 240 volts in the US is not really 2-phase. It's 2 ends of a center tap secondary of a transformer. That center tap is grounded and called neutral. So the 2 ends of the transformers are 180 degrees out of phase, but it's not really 2-phase, But yeah, I mean, you need 3-phase power really for these charger things, So yeah.
How it works over here, we're on 3-phase until it's a substation, and the substation splits it up to 2-phase and then sends it out to like a local housing estate or at a local block or whatever. That's how that works, I think.
Well, they often send out more than 1 phase out to feed the village or whatever from a substation. They'll send 3 phases out, but when it gets to your house, they only tap 2 into your house. Then they take the other phase and they tap that to your neighbor, and then they take it. So they alternate it. Between houses.
Right, I get you.
Yeah.
So
they do run the phases down. But a lot of the time, I mean, in some places out in the sticks, if you're in the middle of nowhere, they might just run you 2 wires. But yeah.
So like say all the odds are on one phase, and all the evens are on the other phase, like door numbers, like different neighbours.
Yeah, well, the phases are not about like odd and even. The phases are about how far along the
Oops.
the power curve you are, because does imply there are 3 signals coming off, I believe, 3 signals coming off, and you just tap into 2 of them, which are out of phase, which produces the down trough of your AC cycle and the up trough of your AC cycle. But the way it's generated from the power stations, right, it's inefficient to produce 2 phase only, because the generators, the way they spin, they produce a phase per 3 parts of the generator. So they're producing a bit on this bit, then it moves and it produces another bit, then it produces another bit. So you're getting 3 signals out, and you transmit, you convert that up into really high voltage. And when you get back at the other end, like on a transformer, it's converted back into 3 phase again. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, because they only, I mean, I don't know, actually maybe they do transmit all 3 phases on 3 sets of cables. I don't know, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm an auto electrician, so I'll stick to me auto electrician rather than the house electrics, because with the house electrics, one wrong move, you can be game over. Same with the cars these days, though, with the high voltage leads to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And back in the, was it 50s or something, you could actually wire up your alternator and use it as welding to make a welder. That's the side of the road, so you can weld your vehicle. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it, what you can actually do with electric wind if you know what you're doing with it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Crazy.
But I think in some circumstances they connect 2 of the phases together, and you get something out of it. Like there is a system where they connect 2 phases together and then use a neutral. Is some sort of weird system, but generally a house will take 1 of the 3 phases out, because there's three phases, and they call them like red, green, and blue. So this is why when you look at a house where it comes in, and if you go into buildings, there's something to look out for when you go into urbexing and you're looking in buildings. When you see these huge cables coming in, massive things, you'll see the wires coming out of them go into the box, and there'll be a red wire, a blue wire, and a green wire. Now that green wire is not the green for earth, because that's what people get. Well, they'll say, "Oh, that's the earth wire." No, it's not. And it's not red and blue are positive and negative. That's not how it works. They're all positive. So the red's positive, out of phase 120 degrees. The blue is out of phase 120 degrees from the first one, but it's still positive. And the green is another 120 degrees out of phase from that one. So you have 3 signals, 3 sinusoidal signals coming in at once. And it depends which one you tap off, sending out to one part of your factory, but they send it into you as 3 phases and a neutral. So yeah, once it goes into that box, then they split it out. Then they'll give you your earth and your neutral, but like going into the box is 3 positives and a neutral, so yeah.
Red, yellow, and blue.
Oh, yellow, is it? Red, yeah. Yellow, and blue.
Pre-2004 colours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red, yellow, and blue are pre-2004s. Yeah. They keep changing the bloody colours on these things as well. It's like, it's like, yeah. They start telling people.
Used to be red and black, your old plugs, didn't they? Now they changed it to, what was it? Brown and blue, and then green and yellow, isn't it? For your neutral. Your house plugs, that is, yeah.
They always seem to keep changing it, and because they change it for safety these days, when an electrician fits a house up, they can't just go by the colours. They've got to stick labels on it now to just warn other electricians who may not know what they're looking at, this is this, this is this, and this is this. They actually have to label them. So because there's confusion as to what the colors actually are, you know, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense now because I've seen black and grey and brown three phase as well as your yellow and red and blue. So I didn't know the difference. One was before 2004 and one after. If you know your cable, then what year did they stop using the tar coated ones with the armor coating on the outside and lead casing, and then you had tar in it? After that, they started.
I got a feeling it was in the 1970s. Because that's
1970s.
I think it was about 1970 because electricians, that's their number one job, is going into people's houses, stripping back the cable, seeing there's tar in it, and going, right, we've got to rewire your whole house because it was decided that was bad.
Yeah.
So that's the number one job. They come in your house, they peel a cable, couple of cables back, they go, yeah, you got tar in these cables, we'll have to replace a load of shit in your house now. And that's their number one job that they have to do, is rewiring houses because of crappy quality cables. I think some of those electric cables, you know, the grey ones that are quite stiff, a lot of those just go to powder. They either turn into slush, like gunk. So they just melt basically without heat. They just started dissolving. And they said, "Oh shit! You know, all these cables we told people to fit in their houses, and you've got to use this because it's, you know, law." And then, like 30 years after that, they go, "Oh shit, that's really bad. You've got to strip it all out now." And it's just like the cost is cost people to do this because of like finding out that they made a mistake. You know,
yeah.
It was the 70s.
Yeah. Because I've seen, like you say, that stuff in a place in town. Well, I was looking for Underground Manchester. You can see it where it's been chopped, but yet you can see it's lead and all the time and stuff. But like I say, I've been in other places where it's been a plastic sleeve, armoured coating on the outside, and then grey and whatever colours it was it's mentioned before, and also the red ones and blue ones and yellow ones, know what I mean? Yeah. So I never knew it was down to the dates. I knew it was newer wire and older wire, but I didn't know the grey and the black and the red and yellow one. I didn't know that was dates as well. I just thought they updated it from the lead for lightness basically and used the outer coating as the earth. But it's probably is down to age and generation and modernizing wires. Yeah, it's just a matter of process, isn't it? Really.
I went in somebody's loft and they said they had a problem. Their light was flickering, so I went up there and I found that they had it all going into a like a mixer box, you know, like a chocolate block type connector thing, you know, slightly more industrial, but like with hot and cold, the contacts had started unscrewing themselves, you know, by getting hot cold, and they just started to unscrew. So basically, it was making a short, and sometimes it was on and sometimes it was off. But in looking at it, I started to pull the cable back, and all the cable was like gunk, was shit, was slush inside. And I didn't know what I was looking at per se, but I just said, I you know, and I told him, I said, look, you know, up there is a bit of a bloody, you know, jungle with like wiring going into these boxes. The boxes look cheap and they're not really screwed down very well, and the wires are literally leaking gunk. So what I'd say to you is, you know, I'm not an expert, but I would say that some of these wires are starting to degrade because I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be slimy inside the wiring. So I would suggest you have a word with an electrician. Just ring an electrician and just say, you know, does that sound dodgy? And you might want to get an electrician to come and check it out, because at the end of the day, you don't want things turn into such slush that they start making contact. Wires start to make contact.
Was it like a slime? Was it like a gel? Yeah. Someone's saying, was it green as well?
It might have been. Yeah.
They don't ask. Got a weird smell to it as well, hasn't it, Matt?
Oh, it was disgusting. But yeah, verdigris. Yeah. But yeah, Dazzy said that VIR cable was commonplace in houses of that era. So that's the stuff that, yeah, copper oxide can absorb moisture. Yeah. But it's like everything, it doesn't last. If you put it in, these days, if you put wiring in 20 years' time, you probably need to be replacing that wiring. And when it's all running through walls and things like that, you're going to have to start ripping off plasterboard to run wiring and then put new plasterboard and have some bloke to come and bloody, make it look good afterwards. It's not cheap to get done. I mean, some people will get a £20,000 quote to come and do that wiring in their house, because it's so awkward for the electricians. Are going to have to pull all the wires out and pull what new wiring through, and it's really not easy. It takes a lot of time to kind of get the new wiring in place, but it's not really a job I'd like because it seems incredibly frustrating having to deal with trying to get wiring through from one area to another and through walls and not hit pipes and not hit other cables and all sorts of stuff. It seems like a bloody nightmare.
Yeah, it does, because really, once you put like a light switch in the middle of the wall, you've got to run a groove all the way down in the plaster
You got to chase it out.
hide the cable. And then obviously you're an auto electrician, not an auto, but a house electrician or whatever you want to call yourself. So you're not like up to making plaster. Well, decent ones probably will be, but yeah, they then apply a contractor to come in and do all the little odd plastering bits and top ups what they need doing, or touch ups.
Yeah.
So that's where the money starts going up then, because they need to invest on someone else, and then vice versa, and it can go like you say, Matt. The bill can go sky high, rocket quite high.
Yeah. Not only that. Most of the times, most people, unless you live in a new build, you've got proper brick built houses with old plaster on it, and when you try and I live in an older house, so when you try and sort out the plaster, like take a cable or whatever, it crumbles away. Then you end up thinking, oh, fuck this, I might as well just do the whole wall, because otherwise you won't get a good finish. It'll look shite. So a lot of the time you just have to replaster the wall, and then that's what adds, as you say, that's what adds to the money, doesn't it?
Yeah. All the extra costs, hidden costs that you don't see on top of the wire, because at the moment wire is expensive. And it always has been, and that's why the thieves go out after it when there's an empty air building. They go and first thing they strip out is the copper pipes and copper wire and weigh it in. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
I mean, you see some people will go for the cheaper option, which is running the wires down the outside of the wall in a plastic trunk, because it's just cheaper to do that than try and get it fished through the wall, break through the plaster, have to put the plaster back on, then redecorate and all that. So some places you see a lot of trunking, used because it's cheaper. But yeah, it's a bloody nightmare. That shut them up, didn't it?
PVC cable with what's that say? With what? Styrene based solutions.
No. PTFE. PTFE is Teflon.
Oh, you're reading that one up there.
Never insulate a round PVC cable with polystyrene based insulation.
Yeah, that'll melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dazzy says he used to chase walls for wires and rewire lofts and underfloor cabling. It's easy with the right tools and know-how. Well, yeah, but still you got to get carpets up, you got to get floorboards up, and then you got to start poking things down into spaces and cavities, and Yeah, but that's what
he's right. But the thing, he's right.
It's fiddly, isn't it? It's fiddly.
The flooring, fair play. You know, lift the floorboards up, drill through, etc. But it's when you start doing the walls. If you're going to put them back into the wall, you're gonna chase it all out. It takes forever to chase it out, and also you make a bloody great big mess. So unless you're doing a whole renovation in your room or your house, it really ain't worth it because you're going to spend more money getting it all sorted out and then decorating, like you say, afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What you do, I think part of a little trick is tape wire, not a wire, but like a string or something to the wire you got to remove first. So then, therefore, once you pull the wire through, the string's got a lot more free to actually pull the next new wire through. So there's little tricks like that you can do. And obviously, I do stuff like that with cars and obviously getting wires through there as well. It's easy to
get special feeding cables as well, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. It's easy to get something through it first. But once something's through it, you can always attach something else to it. You know what I mean? Say that it is a cable, and you can't really join anything else to it apart from another cable. You could solder another cable to the original cable, and then pull that through. So therefore, it's less chance of it snapping, especially if not being tied or taped up. So there's ways of attaching wires to other wires to pull them through as well. So it's all little tips and tricks you pick up on the way as your experience, basically, yeah.
And I think in the United States, I've seen some videos of like people doing renovations and things like that on YouTube. And I was shocked because like they use armored cable, which is very expensive and very inflexible, very hard to kind of route, and they use armored cable a lot inside houses as well as outside, and that stuff is like, that's not easy to route. That's not easy to pull through things. And that's a bloody nightmare. But like some building regs, like require it, and they use a hell of a lot of it.
Yeah. I've been speaking to builders as well, doing roadworks basically. And it's just that what they were doing. They're basically laying new power cables underground. So, like, you go over, to see what they're doing, and you ask them whether they've got a minute you can speak to, or some of them said no, and some say yeah. But I found out what happens. They only dig it about 6 feet down, if that, less than 6 feet, about 4 feet down, and they find a tube with cables all the way through. Or if there's no cables through, they insert a tube. Pardon me. insert a tube and put like a big rag thing in it, and they use actual air pressure to push this rag through, which is tied to a rope, to push out it through the tube. So it's only tubes like this, or well, about a foot wide or whatever, to get more cables through. And when it comes to the other side, they just hook it out with a hook, the string, pull whatever need through, and that's how they'd feed it through. But like you see, Matt, you done a video where you got underground and there was a tunnels with, like you say, 3-phase cable, about 8 of them down either side and stuff like that. I've been in places like that. But that's heavy to pull that through, and 3-phase, especially for miles and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work laying cable.
And some of those cables are pressurized as well. They're gas pressurized cables. So they actually charge them with certain gases, and it's like put in under pressure and then sealed. So that's like the cable itself is like under pressure. They're not just a cable with a bit of plastic around it. So
yeah, a lot of technology goes into and research goes into like cables and stuff like that. Know what I mean? More than people think. People think it's a bit of wire, is a bit of wire, but a hell of a lot of work's gone into it.
Yeah, that's the technique they use apparently. Then blowing things down.
Yeah.
When they first put cable down, like there was years ago, they put all the cables in the street. They dug it all up. They're putting fiber optic in and all the the usual cable stuff. I think it was Teddy West who started doing it around here, and I worked for a firm who did that. And they literally, we were digging the hole or the trench, and then they put the pipe in, and they literally used a machine that would just blow air through at high pressure with a rag all the way through a blue bit of rope, and then they literally then come along, pulled out all the cable.
Yeah. Basically, Manchester, me in Manchester and trying to find underground Manchester that no one else has seen. And underneath Deansgate itself, big long road, that was supposed to be one big air raid shelter and stuff like that from different buildings from left and right. And they've blocked it up in certain parts like that. So I was walking down Deansgate, I think it's about 6 months ago, and they were doing some roadworks and stuff like that. So I was looking, like I say, I'd see what they're doing, and then just got chatting to one guy, and he told us they're laying cables. And I thought, oh, they're doing it the new way, because the old way would be going into the actual air raid shelter tunnels and using them as rat runs for the cable. So that's why it got me curious, because I believe, like I say, doing my research, all the way down, virtually up to Trafford Park near United Ground, is tunnels underneath Manchester Deansgate Way, going towards Chester Road. So, like I say, it does go a long way once you get underground Manchester, if it's all open, but I don't think it is all open. I think they've closed it off in certain sections, so you'll only get in a certain section at a time. But when I seen them like digging on the actual road and laying cable, I asked them the questions, and obviously they told me how the process is, and they're not going down deep no more. They don't need to do cut and cover like they used to for cables. Because, like you said, Matt has been in old tunnels for cables, which are like 8 on one side, 8 on the other, and stuff like that. But they don't need them these days. They just only need a certain size, and that's it. What they do, and then rent it out and to other people and share it through. It's crazy.
I went in a house the other day, and somebody come in and just chopped off the copper. Just literally like squeezed it together and chopped it with a must be I don't know what you call them, bolt croppers, and they just chopped it together, and like the water was pissing out. You know what I mean? So the water was just pissing out because they wanted to steal the copper in this building again. And it's the second time I've seen this. Well, I've seen it in a few places, like water pissing out in a building, and I'll probably put in a report to the water board just to go around there and have a look, because the house is completely open, like you can just walk straight into it. But you talk about like water leaks and things like that, but these copper thieves, they go around these places and they got no consideration whatsoever. It's just like, I want copper, I'm going to steal it. I don't care if water runs out throughout the whole house and the whole house floors and everything just goes, and because I want my £10 worth of copper. You know what I mean? And that bugs me when I see that. That's quite. It's not just selfish from stealing the copper, but it's like all the water pissing out afterwards. Just not giving a shit. Like, and the thing is, they could have quite easily, if they'd had some pliers with them, they could probably have twisted over the copper, like just turned it on itself to just kind of like seal it, but they didn't. They just cut through it and walked away. That's it. Bang.
It was just cut through or snapped it if it bent a few times. Not what I mean.
It twist it round.
Same thing.
Yeah. But no, it's just like we've cut through it and now we walk away. We've got our copper, job done.
Yeah. Deansgate again. I was speaking to a different builder. Yeah. Somewhere. I can't say where they were or whatever, but speaking to him nicely, like friendly, how you doing, all that. And we got talking about old stuff and the underground stuff and stuff like that. So he said, "Oh yeah, we was working on a building in Deansgate and was renovating it, so we had to dig up a bit of the ground underneath. So once they started digging that up, they found an old remains of an old Roman bath and all the tiles and little cut up pieces of the floor and mosaic. That's it. And the guy says, "What shall we do?" We went, "Bury it, because if they find out, the authorities find out about that, that will close down our project, stop us working for a hell of a long time till they get the researchers, archaeologists in and document it and proper." So they said, "Right, we'll just bury that and forget about it." It did not tell me what building that was under, but yeah, it just seems like so much stuff's out there that history gets buried over because of stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Roman bath in Manchester that no one's seen since Roman times. They find it and just bury it. They should at least document it before anything. You know what I mean? That's why. That's what we do. That's why we do what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of places when you're digging, like the foundations for a house, the last thing that builders want to come across is any like archaeological things, because they're supposed to report it. If they find something archaeological, they're supposed to report it, and then you can't continue with any of the work until archaeologists come in and assess what's there and how important it is. And I remember there was a place in Barry near where when I was a kid, and they were digging for a building, and then suddenly they came across an archaeological find, and that's it. They said, "No, you can't build here anymore. That's it now, right? No." And then the archaeologists dug it all out, and it was an ancient house or something like that, and it's still there for people to go and look at. It's just like now it's got a fence around it, but it's like, oh, this is an ancient Roman house or something like that, and they said, no, you can't dig here anymore. So you can imagine that in the building trade, there is probably a kind of like an unwritten, like a hush hush kind of arrangement, which is like, well, when we're digging for these things, if we find anything, shut your mouth and just carry on. Shut your mouth and just like get the concrete in there quick. Because if you admit to it, yeah.
It's like in London, they found that plague pit, didn't they? They're digging for that new tunnel, and they found a fucking great big plague pit, and they had to stop work or go round it or do something with it because they wanted to check it. Got rid of all the skeletons, so the Natural History Museum or something, whoever they were, they took it all out eventually, and then they carried on.
Yeah, it's costing money. That's all it is, really, time and money. Because more time they have off the project, more obviously they've got to pay the employees and stuff to keep interested in doing the project with them. Know what I mean? They just can't lay them all off until the work starts again. They've got to sort like stuff out for them and all that, or then find other work. But obviously that takes time and money, and it just hits them in the pocket. And like you say, Matt, there's probably an underlying rule where, right, we found that, don't tell no one, let's move on.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at like places like Manchester though, like you said, you got all underground Manchester. They just built on top of it, haven't they? It's like Nottingham, they've done the same thing. They just bulldoze everything, but there's still places you can go in and have a look and so forth. And it's just like it's just been left. They just built. In Nottingham, there's a you probably know there's loads of network of tunnels in Nottingham, but when there's a shopping centre, they built a shopping centre on top of all these old houses, and some of the houses are still there. They just like demolished half of them and left it.
Yeah, it's like the tunnel I done in Stockport, the world's widest bridge. Once walking through there, we found some old buildings that used to lead back onto the old market. So what I thought, what I could make out is the back end of the shops onto the market square, and because on the River Mersey, I think they brought the stuff up, the goods up the River Mersey to this bank where Stockport is, and loaded the shops up from the riverside where obviously the new bridge is underneath the marketplace. Now the shopping centre. But like you say, when I walked through there, you could see old buildings and archways and stuff like that. And I didn't know what I was looking at the time, and only found out after, like you do, doing your research of where you've been, what you was looking at. It's crazy what's just been buried, all the old buildings and stuff. Crazy.
Rome is one of the most crazy examples, apparently, of where they used to do this, because the Romans, it was their kind of idea was to just not demolish, build on top of. So, like a lot of Rome is kind of on top of the old Rome. So when they actually dig a lot of it out, and you've got sort of tunnels, you can actually go in and go down and see what's beneath this building, and what's underground. So they do put a lot of it on display again, because they dig underneath to find out what's there, and then they prop up the buildings above, and then they turn it into like little history history things, archaeology. But like Rome is very famous for it, because there's several layers have been built on top of there.
Yeah. Steve, don't give the secret away. There's a great video of some train in Britain, whatever that says, Britannica, on YouTube, and it goes on about Stockport and a hell of a lot of stuff you can find underground there. And I've not even scratched the surface on that yet. And yeah, that is one of the places I found out about the UK's widest bridge. But obviously it's all research, and I don't like to say too much, but obviously it's out there for public domain. So yeah, check the video out. Really interesting place. Loads of information. And yeah, stuff like that. It's unbelievable what's there. It tells you about crypts, underground bridges, area shelters, all sorts. Also underground culverts, what used to be there for the old mills and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a good channel. That they don't put many videos out a lot on YouTube, but when they do put them out, they're quite interesting to watch. And you can become a member. I think you're a member of them, aren't you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm a member of Subterranea Britannica, because they sometimes do events, and things like that, where you can go to see a place that's quite hard to get access to, and they arrange special access. But yeah. I'm quite fascinated. Do you know about the old London Bridge that's no longer there? The bridge that was like had buildings on it and went all the way across the River Thames, and actually was built up with these really crazy ornate buildings. So it was like a little town.
Like a street, basically one street all the way across it. Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah.
Fascinating. I'm just looking at graphics of it now, and it really looks like the most crazy thing. I mean, it's so old fashioned and so sort of ornate. It's crazy. Here we go. Look, if you want to bring it up, have you got?
Give me a second. I'll get it up. Liverpool. Yeah. Williams tunnels. They're quite interesting. Wouldn't mind getting down there and doing a little bit of video with them. They're digging out faults down there, exploring everything. For a few years. Right, let's get this up for you, Matt. You ready?
Yeah.
So full screen.
This here that we can see is, let me see if I bring it in, open an image in a new tab. There we are. Look, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that going across the River Thames. like buildings, actual buildings. Look, you know, you could go through one building into the next building and through and through and through, you know, and it was like a pier almost, rather than a bridge. It was more like a pier. It had buildings along the pier going all the way across the River Thames, and there's other things of it as well. Look, I mean, that's you know, another model of what it would kind of look like, you know, and it would have been hard to get big ships up past this because of the fact that it completely covered from one side of the Thames to the other. So you know, it became unsafe, and I think it there was a church on it and all sorts. You know, look at that there. Look what it would have looked like. Really ornate.
Mental, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, mad. It's not the only place like that, though, was there? There've been other places throughout Europe.
Mm.
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
do Martin said, oh, we went there a few years ago. Yeah, excellent with him. He does a lot of good videos. He likes to put a lot of history in and stuff like that. It's not easy
Yeah.
to do that, though. Like you say, more history you're trying to put in, more of a rabbit tunnel you're going into, because when do you stop doing your research to do the video?
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like this one now, this gasworks, I'm trying to find the picture. And obviously, no one's mentioned it in the chat up to now. Matt's had a quick look on the internet before, could see him moving his hands and stuff. But nothing's came of it. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it's great to document history, but it's not easy. Like I say, you just keep digging yourself further and further down, and then if you keep doing it, you never put the videos out. So you got to just get as much information as you can in a certain amount of time, and then put the video out. That's what I reckon. And if you're wrong,
Is that Bradford Road on the gasworks?
Yeah, Bradford Road one. Have you found something on that?
Oh, I've been looking. I found something earlier, but I still haven't found a picture. But there is the odd bits and pieces about it. But I'm still trying to find pictures of when they actually had the gasworks around. Like you said, it's just the surround of where it would have been.
Yeah. I've actually got some old pictures there of the.
If I find it, I'll send a link to you.
Of the Bradford Gasworks, Bradford Road Gasworks, when the gasworks were still there on the old site. But now it's like the whole site's been took over by Manchester City car park, basically. And right up near where the City Ground is itself was a Bradford Road coal colliery. So one of my other questions was the coal from the Bradford Road coal colliery used at Bradford Road Bradford Colliery coal used at Bradford Road Gasworks? And obviously I got an answer. They couldn't say yes and they couldn't say no, but more than likely it would make sense, if you know what I mean. Yeah, a hell of a lot of money is getting spent in Stockport at the moment, renovation wise.
Because all I can find from it is that it goes back to 1933, I think it is.
1933. No, I'm sure it's older than that. I'm sure it's older.
Right, 1933.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Let me do that. Go to that. But I'll put a private chat firstly. I don't know whether this is any use to you. There we go.
Have a quick look. Oh, there's a link. Go on, click on that. Oh, right. Wow, that's interesting.
Is that what you're looking for?
That is where they went.
Right, so here's another one then.
There we are. It's another one
for
you see. I'll have to go back to click on this one here. Yeah, that's the one I seen. I'm sure that's the one I seen. That other one there.
Yeah.
And
do you want to bring it up? Show people what you're looking at, or?
Yeah, I can do. So you're not all guessing and thinking what's going on. Percent it's under now, this, isn't it? Share
Do you want me to
screen.
bring it? Do you want me to? Oh, go on, and you do
it. Excuse me, sorry.
That's the one. Share. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, this is the gasworks what I'm talking about, the video I'm coming up with. This is a water tower. This is the actual tower I've visited. And then you got this old gasworks here, which is now a car park. And then you got this one here, gasometer. And I'll tell you where this is. This is Alan Turner Way. That leads up to Oldham Road, Rochdale Road. And just there is a fire station, or used to be. Well, it is a fire station. You can't see it there. But there's a fire station there. There's a few factories there, but they're all been knocked down, and there's just waste ground. But yeah, I recognise this picture. This here is a train track going across. This here, what you can see where the arrow is now, is a canal. So yeah, that is pretty much the picture I've got, what was going in the film. So I'm glad I could explain it a bit more while I'm on the live stream. Because when you see this picture on the video, you just think it's an old picture. But now I've explained what the roads are, you probably understand where it is now.
I find them quite fascinating because you know, that is obviously going underground. That thing rises up and down, the gasometer. So as much as you can see in the air is going down underground, you know, like several levels underground. And what I could never get my head around is how you can build something like that keeps a seal on the edges to keep the gas in, because it's running up and down inside. And you think like dust and dirt would kind of build up around the edges of this thing, and it's just like it's a sealed container that sort of rises up, and the gas is in it, but the gas doesn't escape from the sides, but it's got to have a seal. And like, how can they make such a huge seal that'll stay sealed and for years never leak? Because if it does, then you've got to, I would imagine you would have to turn off the gas, let the gas run down as people use it, let it like go down to nothing, then get in there and fix the seals before you can turn the gas on and lift it back up again. And like that's some engineering there, isn't it? How to do all that? How do they do that? I don't know.
Like I said to you, Matt, it's quite basic. Last time you said that, but someone's already stuck it in the comment there, so I'll show it.
A water seal.
Yeah, simple, isn't it?
Huh?
Gas can't go through water; it can only go up, so it can't go through water back out. So it's basically
around the edge is water.
Yeah, and if you look at this picture again, let me bring it on. See this tower here, next to the gas ones. Can you see what I'm looking at there? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Black and white picture. See this taller tower there? That is actually a water tower. That is a water tower to seal this and seal that. And also they had a heating room to make sure the water didn't freeze in the winter.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah,
Still
like I
don't
say,
quite. I still don't understand it. I'd have to look into it. But yeah, it's fascinating. I'll have to, you know, never seen anything like. There's probably a documentary on it on YouTube somewhere. Maybe I'll have to go and have a look. How
well,
these old gasometers used to work.
well, there will be when I put my video out, won't there?
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, I'm going through the actual process of town gas, how they make town gas, and basically the last history on gas over the 200 years. So yes, so it's something to stay tuned for and interesting if you like your old stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what the gas towers, and like I say at the beginning of the live stream, 2002 Commonwealth Games came to Manchester, and they converted to them gas towers or gasometers into a large Coke can, and that's my last video I put out, asking to see if anyone's actually got a picture of them, because early 2000s, not many people had mobile phone pictures and uploaded to YouTube or uploaded to the internet. So if anyone has got them type of pictures, it'll be the old paper pictures that you have to take and get developed. So that's probably why I can't find any online. But if you have got any hidden away in your cupboards, and or you know where they are, let us know. Leave me a message, drop a comment below, and hopefully we'll be able to get a picture produced for this video and try to produce. So it is more effort, it takes longer to do the videos when you're trying to do a proper documentary of history and the places like that than just a quick urbex, if you know what I mean. I want to try and get the history out there a bit more like Martin Zero, but not, well, I don't know. I want to get as much as he can, but he's got it down to art at the moment, when I'm just a starter on YouTube. And yeah, I think I'm doing quite well on what I'm doing, and try to get my channel where I want it to go. So yeah,
I'm
thank you
kind of
for listening.
in my head now. I've just been trying to work it out, like how would this water seal work, and I basically then the outside of the tube that goes down, um, it would be like if it was like a cup, then there would be another internal, um, well, plug basically into the ground. So from the ground down, it would be like this on the outside. Then it would have another internal plug that would, and the thing would run down the edges of it. So basically, then you can fill up between the walls of the outer and the inner plug. You can fill that with water all the way up, I would imagine, and then you put the metal thing on top, so it bobs down into the water. But the water only runs around the edge of this and the inner edge, which might be like a foot thin, a foot thinner or something like that. So it, but then the middle of this would all be like solid, solid, because that gasometer is going to run around the edges. Is that how it works?
So you cut upside down.
Yeah, I can't. There's an old T in it.
Well,
Hang on.
well, you've probably done this in the past. You turn a cup upside down and shove it in water.
Yeah.
And that's basically the same thing.
So is it water all around the inner, like, lower area? Is it water completely in the lower area? Oh, so they don't have a plug then, like a plug. It is just literally. Oh,
It's a combination. It's a combination, if you know what I mean. It's like you say, there's certain bits and bobs. You know what I mean.
So it's the pressure. It's the pressure of the gas inside that makes it go down and up, because obviously the gas won't. The amount of gas there and it will not diffuse into the water as much. So if you've got a small amount of gas, it will diffuse. So that's why they would continuously pump water into it as it went down and up. In my humble opinion, I might be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're going to have to equalize the amount of water in the bottom of it, aren't they?
Yeah, I've just been looking further, and it goes back to about 1870s. There was gasworks on that site.
Yeah, I told you it's over 200 years old. Yeah, about
Mm.
200 years old-ish.
Yeah, you see those like spiraling guides that go around the edge. So if you were to see one like time lapse, it wouldn't just go up and down; it would actually spin up and spin down. You know, like that.
I've came across this one as well. It's all in the video. It's all in the video.
Mm.
Yeah. So, like you say, or like you're saying, there's so much to it. More you look into it than just a tower that goes up and down or whatever. So much interesting, and yeah, it's, like I say, I found it interesting, and I'm sure everyone else will.
When they build one of those, of course, they can't just lift it in with a crane. It probably has to be assembled on site. So all the sides of it would have to be welded on site to make the seals all the way around it, or they would have to have done it in a certain way. I would imagine maybe they could use rivets as long as it had like a gunk seal, or they could rivet then to tighten it onto the thing. But that would have to all be assembled either in situ. It would have to be assembled there in bits, you know, and then put the lid on again. And where do you get the lid? Is the lid in bits? Like, you know, because you're not going to get a massive circle like that on the back of a truck, are you, and drive it in one piece. You know, it's going to have to be lots of multiple pieces, are all going to have to be assembled on site, and then kind of
riveted in place.
Yeah. Also, right in the middle of it as well is something that I'm not said out yet, but there is something in the water in the middle. So when it all comes down empty, it can just stop at a certain thing. There's something there for that as well. So loads of interesting stuff. And like you say, I wanted this one to be the first video, and the one behind me be the second one. But because it took over time, over a couple of months, because they weren't happy with the video filmed, so the people who was working with. So he invited me back down. On the day I got down there, I didn't even bother getting out the car because it's like a tropical rainstorm, basically. I just said, not doing it today. He went, yeah, I can see why. And then contacted us a month later or another day, and took a while. So I thought, throw this one out first. And then this other one, like I say, is going to be a part 2 now.
Without, again, knowing too much about it, I'm imagining the purpose for these things was to provide a constant gas pressure so that, like, when there was a high demand, these things would go down, you know, and then at night when, you know, nobody was using so much gas, they would be filling back up slowly, and then there would be a big demand. It's like to provide mass demand in an area. So, you know, so that they could kind of not have to have absolutely colossal size gas pipes to feed to it. They could have reasonable size gas pipes to feed to it, and then you'd have smaller pipes going out to feed the houses and towns and whatever. But that thing is like it's like a storage device, like that provides when there's high demand. Is that what it is?
Pretty much how you said it there. Yeah, they refill it at night and it goes up with the pressure and stuff, and with the use, it goes down during the day. Also, like, you know, there are a lot of them disappearing now. So, what's
how do they do it now?
That's coming up in the video as well. So I've got the full process. So hopefully, everyone who's interested in what you listen to now will jump on the videos and watch the whole process of the gas and how they store it. And believe it or not, because you work with or doing videos or researching gas or whatever you're doing, certain videos just come across you, and apparently nothing to do with what we do. A video came out of someone that does stuff totally different from our channels, but yet it dropped perfect in just for me for what I needed to know about the future of the gas, even though it's got nothing to do with gas, this channel or nothing. So it's weird how certain things is dropping line to get your video out or what you need in place to, or information. But saying that now, I find it more easier because if you're on YouTube and you type in certain thing or look for this or look for that, YouTube then recommends check this video, check that video, or whatever. And same with Google, if you Google it so much, you know what I mean? It's more AI putting stuff in front of you than you're actually going out doing your research yourself, if you know what I mean. So sometimes it's a coincidence, it just falls in place. And a lot of time it's AI, like say Google or YouTube or someone puts it in front of you. Yeah. Go on, Matt.
I always find it fascinating when you go in old houses, and the bigger the house, the more this applies, you know. So when you get to like mansion size houses and things like that, they often have a little tower or in the roof, or they'll have a special tower and it looks like a clock tower or something like that. And you think, oh, clock tower. But when you go up there, there's always at really high up is a massive water tank. And they used to have these to kind of fill when the pressure is low. They're filling up constantly throughout the day. You know, when the water pressure is low and just dripping in, you know, as it were. And then when people turn on loads of taps and need water in that mansion, then the pressure of that tank is pushing it out at high speed through the tap. So you get good water pressure in and around the house. But I'm guessing that this is because in the old days, the pipes weren't good enough to take high water pressure to everywhere. And they didn't have so many electric pumps, and they didn't have pumps along the way, like, you know, sort of like from the water supplier. Now these days you have water pumping stations every couple of miles, like, you know, to keep the pressure up going through the pipes. But in the olden days they didn't. They just had a pipe going 20 miles with quite low pressure. You know, the pressure kind of wasn't all that good. So all of these houses, you know, including, you know, houses at streets, you know, they would have a tank, a header tank, and you'd have your own little pressure system to kind of provide you good water pressure coming out of your out of your taps in the house. But they don't do that anymore. They don't sort of do it these days because water now is direct from the supplier to you without a header tank. And I think the reason for that is because they don't want you drinking water that's come out of your dirty tank that you aren't cleaning properly. So they don't do it.
It's Legionella, isn't it?
Yeah. It's fascinating how things have changed now, you know, to kind of just water's direct. But it must mean that the water is pressurized many places along the way. It's like that's why you have these little water things all over the place, you know, and it's just a room with a pump just to push the water on to the next village and the next, you know, town, and then pump all along the way now. So this system has completely changed the way that houses are designed and large places are designed, because they don't keep their water in a header tank anymore to supply that house. It's just straight from the supplier at the pressure.
Yeah. Guys, see you later, mate. Call it a night soon anyway. You're quite right there, Matt, because in the World War II and the camps they had over there, army camps and barracks and stuff like that, they've got water towers which are quite high up and, like you say, hold a load of water just so that it's got enough pressure for the pipelines underneath for all the army soldiers or whatever.
It's gravity fed.
Yeah,
basically what it is you have a tank in a loft or in, like you're saying, a water tower. It's gravity fed, so obviously the weight of it, gravity will bring the pipe water down, so you'd have it much like what you get in a house at the moment, but you obviously it's attached to the mains.
I know, it's Dazzy's shooting off. Night, Dazzy. Sorry, I mean,
they do still have them in some places. Like you drive along the motorway and you often see these like turrets that go up to like a tank on the top. And so some villages and some places, they may still be using those, but I think a lot of them are kind of disused. They're not used anymore, and like a lot of them, they obviously have mobile phone masts on them now and things like that. So they're being used for other purposes as well. But I think they kind of, a lot of places have moved away from this. They've gone away from this concept of we store our own water on site and then we pump it down to just direct pumping. I think the psychology has kind of changed.
There's 3 round where I am. I've been to one of them. I think I've videoed it, but I know of at least 2 more. One I go past quite regularly, and it's definitely in use still. It's all boarded up and high fencing. You can't get in, but the water board use it. You can see it is used, but it's whether they use it for the purpose what was used before, who knows? But it's got loads of aerials on it, so like you say, it probably is to do with communication. But they're quite fascinating things to look at when you're up close, because you don't realise until you get up close how tall they actually are and how big they are.
Yeah.
Gazza's there. I've left his message up because I wanted to say something. Stored on the high pressure pipes on the ground now. Whatever. Not all the time. There's something I need to go and do. I need to go on, do a little trip and film something to show you what I mean by that. So, yeah, you're right, but not 100% of the time, if you know what I mean. There's something else to it as well. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh, right, quite an easy way out, actually. Quite cheap, and I suppose it's an effective way if they're doing it. Must work. Right, I'm going to shoot off now, and thank you everyone for coming up, especially Matt and John on the panel, and everyone in the chat for coming up and leaving messages and chatting and contributing to the live stream. Much appreciated. And yeah, I can't get on tomorrow. I'm out tomorrow, so that's why I'm doing a live stream on a Monday. It's something different, but I think you found it interesting. I did anyway. And good night till next time. Stay safe till next time. Bye bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.